Mobile app development, it's either dying or becoming dormant. Yes. Najua mnataka kuniambia ningoje zishuke kwanza ama nikunywa maziwa ama niache stories za Java. But first of all, hear me out. Yes, I understand that billions of people all over the world, that is global, they have a smartphone. And that's why we normally have mobile apps because on those devices you can only run mobile apps. So it means there is a huge market for mobile app development, which is true. There's no problem with that. Again, I also know that there are specific features which you can only implement them in software development when you doing what we refer to as mobile app development. That is things like GPS. You can only be able to invoke GPS using mobile apps. Again, that is to be able to know the real location of someone or business, something like that. You can track using GPS because obvious a mobile phone is tied to a person or maybe belongs to someone. So if you want to track them or maybe to know their location, something like that, you'll only use GPS, and that one can only be applicable if you are using mobile app, if you are developing mobile apps, something like that. The other thing is what we refer to as offline capability. Yes, for you to be able to access information offline, yes, mobile apps, they are good in that. It can synchronize information to be able to get information from the cloud, something like that. That is the database where it's hosted when you are connected to the internet. But when you go offline, still you'll be able to access that information. Yes, for mobile apps, they normally do that, which is a good thing. Also, things like push notification, you can only be able to push information to specific users through mobile apps. That is the only way you can be able to have that feature. And also, we have got other things like there is the being able to consume devices like, for example, audio, that is microphone, things to do with cameras and so forth. That can only be possible if you're doing mobile app developments. But I can tell you for sure, there are specific areas which mobile apps are more, it's very easy, or maybe it's a better way, a better place where you can implement mobile apps. In other areas it might be very difficult. One of them is gaming. Gaming is a huge industry because I know you know that at some point when the young generation is growing, they play games a lot. That is mobile games a lot, even video games and so forth. They normally play them a lot, and that one you can implement them using by targeting mobile app area. The other thing is also on the gaming, you know that like for those who love bettings and so forth, if it is Betika, SportPesa, and so forth, that's a good area where you can implement that. Another area is logistic industry and fintech industry. Logistic industry, like for example, if you are developing an app like Uber or maybe shipping for shipping purposes, those kind of apps, they will do well in this industry. So Uber, you've seen Bolt, you've seen Faras. Those mobile apps normally do very well in the industry because this is something which is targeting the masses, that is the larger population. Again, for fintech, the same way it applies very well. So it is very easy to find someone has downloaded either a game or maybe an app like Uber, Bolt, something like that. That is normal. You'll find that someone has that app, and either a fintech app, maybe if it's a banking app for your bank, something like that, the bank that you normally bank with, then definitely you'll find someone has those kind of applications, mobile applications. And other area is social media. Social media, which is a very huge industry, but I normally feel like if every generation comes with their own mobile social media platform. Like for the older generations, we found Facebook. Facebook, that is Facebook came and found us, something like that. Then we have got, because as we speak, Facebook has got over 3 billion users, something like that, which is a good number, actually the highest. Then we have got Twitter, we have got TikTok, we have got Instagram. Nowadays, we have got the young generation where you find that they are either on Snapchat, and others will grow as still every generation they have their own way of interacting. So definitely they will come with their own social media application, something like that. But now you can imagine to beat a company like Facebook. Yes, it is maybe possible, but with time, it means it might not be that easy, even though anything in technology is possible. We never knew some other apps might come and do well compared to it. So in this case, I can tell you for sure, if you are not developing an app which is going to get to this industry, then it might be very, very difficult for you. And now, if you are focusing to this industry, you should be able to you should uh, be well prepared to compete with companies like Facebook, that is Fang. Fang, we normally have Facebook, Amazon, Google. We have got Twitter. We have got those companies like those big companies, Uber and so forth. You are supposed to be focusing to compete with those guys, which I know very well. It is very, very difficult. Now, why am I saying that this industry is an industry which is either dying or maybe becoming dormant? Uh, in this case, I'm comparing it to web development or web applications for that matter. When you compare the two, you realize that there are several challenges which comes with mobile app development. And one of these challenges is how you deploy or how you upload these apps to somewhere where they can be accessible by the users. And the only place is either Google Play Store or either App Store for, I think, those iPhones and so forth. Now, it is not that easy as you think, because these companies, they normally have clear regulations and which are a little bit tough to meet. Like for example, I've tried to upload several apps for like circles and so forth. So the kind of requirements that you need to have is, first of all, you need to have a letter from a bank like CBK, especially if your app is maybe going to collect money, like you want to monetize where you find that people are paying through the app. It is not that easy as you think. So it is a little bit difficult to either upload that app to Play Store so that it can be accessible to users. Yes, I know you are saying that I can upload it to the website and people can download it from there. But again, you have to know that most of the mobile phones, they don't allow downloading apps from external sources because and not everyone will make those changes of allow app to install from unknown sources, something like that. Very few people might do that based on what they want to do with that app. So I can tell you for sure it might be very, very difficult to get clients. So I'm not saying that you are supposed to, or maybe the Google Play Store is supposed to relax its rules and regulations. There are a lot of threats, but it's good to be regulated. But I can tell you for sure, if we are focusing to businesses like SMEs, that is small, medium enterprises and so forth, then it might be very, very difficult to come up with a mobile app for that matter, because even the challenge of uploading it to the Play Store, it's something that it might be very difficult, because when you go to those organizations like CBK, you'll have to get letters from different institutions, government institution. They have also their requirements and regulations. So you might find yourself you have not met those requirements. So it might be difficult for you to be able to crack that area. Another thing that you need to know is that the users or the users of that app. Now you can imagine an institution like school having a mobile app. Yes, I know there are schools which will have mobile apps. Think of an hospital coming up with a mobile app, or a company coming up with their own mobile app. It depends on the services that they offer and how many clients or customers they have. So it might be very, very difficult to get a huge number of users who are using your application. Like for example, nikuulize tu, how many apps do you normally use zenye ziko kwa simu yako? You normally use them on daily basis. Very few. So in this case, you'll find that it's very, very difficult to kind of get clients or customers who are going to consume your or make use of your mobile app for that matter. So that is another area, the users area, or the number of users who are going to make use of your mobile app. The other area is, the other challenge is mobile apps are very, very expensive. And you need to know that for you to develop a mobile app, or to get a developer who develops mobile apps, this person needs to be good in, first of all, the front end. The second is the back end, because if you have an app which is going to have a database, and you remember, for in this case, the database is supposed to be on the cloud or hosted somewhere. So the mobile apps is supposed to synchronize this information. So we have got the front end part of the mobile app, and we have got the SQL database, which is normally on your mobile phones. When you download the app will have the SQL database, which will store information locally on your phone. Then we have got the cloud database, which stores database now from the different users, something like that. So if you need to access that information, then this mobile app needs to communicate with the API endpoints for that database. So it means you need a front-end developer, you need a back-end developer who is going to create the APIs endpoints and make them a little bit secure, something like that. And in most cases, you are likely to get someone who can do just a simple app. They might not have the skill to do that, to do all that. So that's why I feel like when we compare the number of users or targeting users, the expenses which comes up with the development, hosting, things to do with that, and even putting that up to the Google Play Store or any other store, it might be very, very difficult and challenge. And those three things, they can make the industry, they are making, in other words, they are making the industry, because I know we have got so many people who have got the ideas of coming up with different mobile apps, but it's a little bit difficult because of these kind of regulations, the expenses, and the number of users who are going to use this application. So you'll find that also there is also competition on web development, because it is easier to come up with a website or a web application. To deploy that web application, you don't need a lot of regulations. And to be able to monetize your stuff on your web application, there's no problem. And now this web application is accessible by someone who is using a mobile phone, a computer, and so forth. So it becomes more competitive. The rate at which web application is growing is very, very fast, I can tell you for sure. So, and it makes most of the businesses to be focusing on coming up with a web application other than a mobile app. So that's why you can see web application is one of the areas which is very flooded. But I can tell you, so long as you have your skill, at the end of the day, you'll get your coin. You'll pay your bills. That is a fact. The business and the market is very, very huge. You cannot exhaust it. So I cannot say that, let's say, mobile apps are only suitable for big organization, and sometimes there is that competition, like for example coming up with the USSD application. Then it means a USSD application is going to serve both someone who has a smartphone and someone who has a katululu. So you can imagine. And if it's a big organization, then USSD costs. It's not something which is a big deal, like big insurance company, banks, and so forth. So you will realize that, yes, for mobile apps, yes, they can do it, but it might not be that great. So it only works for logistics, fintech, gaming, and what else? The social media kind of platform. And if you're ready to fight those companies, then I can tell you for sure, go for it. So I think the gap is going down. So it means if you have the skill, then you'll be more marketable. Like when you get a gig, you can charge more. Lakini when it comes to just getting that one job, it might be very difficult for you. So my advice is, for someone who is joining this industry of software development, I would recommend, first of all, you start with web development, because you can even nowadays convert a web application to a mobile app very easy and fast. So the experience is that when you become a web developer, don't focus only on the front end. focus on full stack. When you become a full stack, you will find that you can develop both the front end and the back end. And for mobile apps, now those endpoints or those API endpoints are the ones that you can hire a mobile app developer and they will consume the stuff using those endpoints. So that's my take, and I would like to hear your thoughts on the comment section if you're an expert. And also, kama una join the industry, at least uniambie if you can consider, based on the points that I've shared, you can consider being on the mobile app development, or lakini sijasema inakufa. The industry, it's going to make it more of a hot cake. Yes, very few people are going to be there, but now getting that job, it might be difficult, because at the end of the day, as a developer, I can tell you, you have to start small. So you have to start working with a small organization. So for the small organization, do you think they are going to go from a mobile app or a web application? So the SaaS, that is software as a service, which is not only possible using a web application, then yeah, so that is it. Make sure you like, share, and also remember to subscribe to those social media platforms and follow us. Thank you. See you on the next one.